Hey, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of my brand new podcast, Burn Water. This is where I recap what I've been doing in the food industry, the catering, the concessions, and kind of give you guys an insight as to where my brain is most of the time. A lot of it's just going to be me kind of using this as a way to vent and reach out for understanding and maybe look for some opinions in the field because I don't always have the wherewithal or the mindset to make the best decisions. I do what I can. I make the best decisions with the given situations, and sometimes they work out really good. And other times they don't. I'm not perfect. I do make a lot of mistakes. So I hope you enjoy what we're going to go through, and I hope that you're going to join me in this journey because I've been doing this my whole life. I've been in food service for over 20 years, and I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of different things. And then on the flip side of it, I have a passion for helping people, for nurturing, for feeding people to reach out and to help them in any situation they have. And I've been doing it my whole life through food, and I never realized that's what I was passionate about. I always just thought I loved to cook, but it's more than that. I like to do things for people. I like to cook for people because it's the easiest way I can show them how much I love them, how much I care. It is the simplest way for me to express my heart. And I started off as a dishwasher a long time ago when I was 14, and then I worked my way up from a dishwasher to a prep cook, and then a prep cook to a cook, and I took a little vacation out of that area. Ended up being a server and a host and working front of house, and then I found my way back to the kitchen in my late teens, early 20s, and eventually I achieved the title of chef, and I've been there ever since. And it's been a long, interesting journey. I've met some amazing people along the way. Some of the most interesting and wonderful people I've ever met have been in kitchens, and I kind of liken it to a group of pirates. Everyone has their own crazy scarred backstory. Everyone has the tattoos or bad habits, or there's things about them that just make them a little mysterious or frustrating. And maybe they're just assholes. Honestly, they could be. And that's just the surface. You work with someone every day, elbow deep in grease and muck and BS, and eventually you realize when you look around that you're the only ones left. Like everyone's gone, for everyone's at home, and it's you and one other guy closing. And that happened to me. I worked at this bar, and I couldn't stand most of my coworkers, and vice versa. And we didn't really get along. There was a lot of us there, and I had this guy, and him and I just butted heads constantly. And he was one of the most arrogant, rude, in your face, ostentatious people I've ever met, and we just did not get along. It was fire and gasoline. If you put us together, we were going to explode. And there was a couple times where we came real close to actually fighting. And after a year and a half, 2 years, we looked around one day and realized that of all the people that opened that restaurant, that bar, we're the only two left. And every new person that came and went, it was still just us there. And we found common ground and bonded, and now he's one of my best friends. And I can't really express that any other way than telling you like that. We went from being just really bad enemies to being people that would do anything for each other. He bought me one of my first chef knives. He had it shipped to my house, and I went to his wedding, and we just see life differently, and we see a piece of each other in each other. I think it's the reason we used to butt heads so bad, is because we reminded each other too much of things about ourselves we didn't like. I have found that's pretty common. If you find someone in your life that is close to you that exhibits traits about yourself that you don't like, you will get annoyed with them. You will find yourself resenting them because they remind you of pieces of yourself that you haven't come to terms with, or you are insecure about, or you don't care for, or there are things about you that you just can't stand. And if you have someone in your life that reminds you of that on a regular basis, not like they mean to, they don't even know, they just their presence instills that in you, you will find yourself not liking them, and you will find yourself taking steps to keep them away from you because you don't want to be faced with the parts of you that are hard and that you don't like. And I'll be the first one to tell you, if you're in a kitchen If you are working every day at a thankless job, you'll be faced with those opportunities to deal with yourself all the time. All the time, my friends. There are so many things about myself that I can't stand, from things that are physical to my body weight to things that are emotional or little habits that I have, things that I do that irritate me, but I still continue to do them. And that is a lot more than I think that most people really think about themselves. They don't really stop to think, "Hey, why is it that I do what I do?" But if you take the time to figure out why it is you do what you do in all things that you do, you'll find ways to change it and things to make your life better and to make it less complicated. And if you can find ways to make yourself more palatable to yourself, your life gets so much simpler, so much smoother. It is so much more enjoyable to live life. Not hating the skin you're in, not being just disgusted every time you look in the mirror, or when someone tries to pay you a compliment because you don't agree with it, you shoot it down. When someone takes time out of their day to be nice to you and say something kind, that's a beautiful thing. The last thing you should ever do is downplay it, brush it off, be insulting about it. You don't have to agree with what they're saying, but you have to appreciate the notion that they love you enough to say something kind. And that is a gift. It is a wonderful gift. And if you don't have a place in your heart for that, then you need to take some time to evaluate what it is about yourself that you find so detestable that you can't accept the kindness and love of others. Because in this world, all we have is love. That's all we have. Every other emotion comes from love. Pain comes from love. Fear comes from love. Anger comes from love. It all comes from love. And in my life, and I have a lot left to learn. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not claiming to know anything. I'm just some dumb schmuck on the internet. But in my life, I have love, and through my love I have gratitude, and I'm so thankful to be alive and the experiences that I've had and the people that I've met along this journey. And I hope that I'm going to meet more. I hope that this is just, the middle, and that I have a whole nother half to go. I don't want to believe that this is the end or that I've peaked. There has to be more to my life than what I've done so far, because I just feel like I have so much more to give. There's so much more to do. So many places I haven't seen, people I haven't cooked for, ideas I haven't tried. Like, there's so many more opportunities in my life for growth. And I wish that everyone felt the same way. If all of us felt like every day was just the beginning of something new, instead of every day was just a continuation of drudging along, if it was an opportunity to recreate something great, to be generous, to be hospitable, to be kind, to be fun, to go out and be adventurous and claim your life for your own. If every day was viewed like that, imagine what we could accomplish. In my family, between my brother and I, that we have this phrase, little bit, big bit. And effectively, it's the same concept as you put one foot in front of the other, and pretty soon you're walking across the floor. It's just a little bit of progress over a long period of time. Eventually, you go a great distance. And I think that in my life, I need to remember that, because I have a really hard time staying focused when things don't go the way I want, when things get discouraging, when I'm not seeing the progress or the distance from the goal shortening. It's like losing weight. You get on the scale every day. If you don't see pounds go down, you get depressed and sad. But sometimes gains aren't measured in that amount that you can see all the time. Sometimes it's very small. Sometimes it's a victory of continuation, of learning new traits, of being consistent, of training yourself not to give up. You have to take the good all the time. And if nothing else, be present and cognizant enough to know when the good is there, and you just have to not give up. Because giving up is super easy. It is so easy to give up. It's a breeze. Just say, fuck it, just be done. Fighting yourself, going forward, that's the difficult part. Getting up every day, trudging to a job that you don't feel has a future, to do a job that you don't see a point in. That's hard. Giving up's a lot easier. Finding the motivation in yourself to say, I'm not where I want to be, but I could be in a year, and I see a path forward. I just have to take a step. That's hard. That's a challenge. That is how you become something new. You burn off the old parts of you, and you're rebirthed as a new soul. That's very hard, and it's not something that people even attempt most of the time. Most of the time, people just phone it in and give up. They get to a part in their life that doesn't suck, but it's pretty easy, and they just kind of phone it in. Okay, we're smooth sailing, hit cruise control, and that's going to be the end of it. And I don't want that for my life. I can't begin to believe that I peaked. I can't. There's got to be more. I've got to be able to get better, to do better, to get thinner, to get stronger, to live a better life for my family, myself, my children. I had a conversation with my mom one time where she expressed to me that she didn't want to be a parent that buries her child because my body weight went a little haywire and I was too heavy. And I was like, oh, Mom, you're fine. You're worry wart, blah, blah, and just brushed her off because I didn't want her to worry. But I wasn't taking it seriously. I wasn't being realistic about what I was being faced with. Because I do. I do live my life kind of crazy and I work all the time. And my health is absolutely the last thing I consider. And that's bad. I'm not young anymore. I'm almost 40, so I need to take it more seriously. I am a morbidly obese man who works way too much and sleeps not enough and eats garbage food. I do eat garbage food. And at some point, it's going to catch up with me. And now, at the age of 38, my body is already slowing down. I don't heal as fast. I don't bounce back as quick. There are things that happen that just, my God, they're simple and they're stupid. And before you know it, like, you're like, oh, I'm fine. And you sneeze and you throw your back out. Like, it's not even like these like really dangerous things I'm doing. It's, oh God, I slept wrong. My elbow hurts for a week. Or I tripped and hit my big toe on the desk and I think it's broken now. It's, oh, I need to crack my back. I did it, but now I can't turn my head left. It's these little things that just daily functions as you get older and you start doing things less and less tend to hurt if you're not doing things on a regular basis, if you're not exercising, if you're not getting out there. So I understand that I didn't take her seriously and I'm trying to do better. I need to do better for myself. And like I said, this whole thing is about trying something new. I have a lot of anxiety about putting myself out there, but I figured if I have a lot of thoughts, other people have thoughts. There's no reason why I can't express myself. So here we are. And that has been your introduction to Nicholas on Burnt Water. We're going to get on to the second segment, which is catering recap. For those of you that don't know anything about me, if you have made it this far, I am a caterer, I'm a chef, I love food. It is my absolute favorite thing in the world is to feed people. I think that there is a strong contention to be made that my other favorite thing may be just to eat great food, and who doesn't love great food? But yeah, so I do a lot of wedding and banquet catering. We just did one for some dear friends of ours, Dylan and Bree, and they are one of the most lovely and amazing young couples I've ever met. I've known them for a little while now. Dylan's mom, Angie, she is a godsend to a caterer. I mean, she has been such a wonderful employee. Every time she shows up to a party, she has the right mindset. She knows how to get stuff done. She's wonderful with the clients. She's very kind and courteous and helpful to the brides and the bridesmaids, and I can't begin to emphasize enough how thankful I am that she is a part of our operation. And at this event, her son's wedding, she had bought all the stuff to make this charcuterie board. We call them grazing tables. It's a very large table. This particular one in question was 16 feet. And she'd already done some for me, and she does amazing work. And I would love to have you think that I trained her, but I didn't. She's got all pure natural talent. She just does and does amazing. And so she bought all this stuff and she was setting up this table and she pulled me aside and said, "Hey, if I don't get this all done in time, can you finish it?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I can." But if I'm being honest, I don't know if I would have been able to do that table as good as she did. Yes, I did go out there and finish it. My mother, who's friendly with Angie, who enjoys Angie, who works well with Angie, worked that event with me, and she helped us finish it. But we did finish the table, but we didn't. I don't think we could have designed something more beautiful than Angela had already put together. She does fantastic work. And the wedding went over really smooth. It was a semi outdoor indoor. There was a very large tent. The food was inside of a clubhouse where the bar was. And the weather had turned sour. It was very sunny, and then these patches of dark clouds. And before you know it, it's raining, and then it's thundering, and then it's lightning, and then it's sunny, and there's a rainbow, and then it's raining again. Imagine sitting in the yard and your kid takes a hose and it's turned down and they point it straight up and they just shake it real hard. So you're intermittently getting hit with like spurts of water, but no consistent downpour. That's what this was. And for someone trying to do food at a wedding, or someone having a wedding, it's kind of a nightmare because you don't know when to go and not to go. And we just decided, business as usual, do the best we can with what we got, and thank the Lord that we were in the clubhouse. So Angie's beautiful grazing table, and it was astonishingly gorgeous, was all set up, and our buffet was set up. We got our food going, and it was very important to me that I did this wedding myself. Now, every client is important to me, every one of them. I am so thankful for our clients, and they keep all of us working. They keep all of our families fed, and that is so important to me. But this one was special because Dylan and Bree have worked so hard for us, and Angie and her husband Eric have all their whole family has been so wonderful to the Tasty Bits family. They're so treasured, and they have done so much work for us over the years that they had to be perfect. I wanted them to have everything they wanted. I wanted to be there to make sure everything was perfect, and I didn't know like if I was gonna make a difference per se. Like I would like to tell you that all my staff do amazing work, and they do. Everyone that works for me does a great job, and I'm very thankful to have them. They're treasures to me. But I just wanted to be there. I wanted to be a part of it because I wanted them to know how much I appreciate them and how much they mean to me because they are wonderful. And it went off great, and they had a great time. And I believe that when I was when I was leaving with my vehicles and stuff, I think they're rediscovering their dance moves. So I'm happy to hear and see that they had a wonderful evening. And if you ever do hear this, Dylan, Bree, Angie, Eric, I love your family. You guys are family to me, and you are when I think of the Tasty Bits family, you are the first people I think of outside of Heather and myself. So thank you so much for all the wonderful help you guys have given me and all the great ideas and the great attitude, team effort, and spirit that you guys bring to every event that you help with. I appreciate it very much. We've done a lot of weddings over the years. A lot of them. A lot of different kinds of banquets. Birthday parties, anniversaries, reunions, all different kinds of baby showers, even all different kinds of things. But the weddings are tend to be the ones that I scrutinize the most. And that particular event went off perfectly. I've had some that were not so good. The previous weekend, we had four, and two of them went very poorly. One resulted in me giving a refund to the bride, which is not something that I'm ever thrilled about doing. I'm always happy to do it. If we make mistakes and we owe them compensation, then we owe them compensation. I'm the first one to admit that if we make a mistake, I'll own up to it, and I just have to use it as a lesson in how to move forward and make sure it doesn't happen again. Because no matter how many times you think you've done everything right or you're doing the best job you can, sometimes mistakes happen. It's unfortunate and it's unacceptable, but it does happen. And we had a couple boners that weekend, and I made a lot of boo boos, and I know better. I've been doing this long enough where it should have been an issue, but it was. And so we found ourselves at one event at there setting up. Oh my gosh, where's this hors d'oeuvre? Well, it turns out that day we had two events, and I was in a hurry, and I sent the wrong hors d'oeuvre to the wrong party. Now this party in question that was missing an hors d'oeuvre had four, so they still had plenty for their guests, but they paid for something they didn't get. So right there, boom, my fault. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have my pan labeled with the right label, so I owed them money for that. And the same party, their dry pack goods. Where's the napkins? Like there were little things, like little things that should never have happened. I didn't double check my packs. I didn't double check my hot food. I was too focused on trying to get everything out on time. I didn't stop and smell the roses to make sure everything is perfect. And I'm not talking about hours extra. I'm talking 5 minutes. A 5 minute double check could have prevented me from having to refund quite a bit of money just because I was too wrapped up in my head. Sometimes taking a step back to realize, okay, the panic's real, the anxiety is real, but is the client going to have what they need, what they deserve, what they're paying us for? Are we going to provide the service that they are expecting? And if the answer is no, then it's time to take a step back and relax, calm down, take a couple minutes and breathe, refocus and recenter your train of thought to do the job that they expect you to do. I pride myself in my customer service. You know, I used to work for a guy that would always say he wasn't in the food industry, he was in the service industry. And I used to say, no, we're in the food service industry. Like we serve guests and we serve them great food and great service, and we're here to make them happy, to make their special occasion, whatever it may be, effortless and simple and easy. And if we can't do that, if we get too nervous or too psyched up, then what are we doing? And that's exactly what happened. Even though you would think that I'm mature enough for that not to happen, it's exactly what happened. I got too wrapped up in my head and I wasn't able to take the time I needed to make sure everything was perfect. And it's a lesson, you know, no matter how good you think you are, take it a second and double check yourself. Go to a peer, a loved one, someone, say, hey, you know, I think this is dumb, but go do me a favor, go over everything and double check my work. I'm not the be all end all. I'm not the Jesus Christ superstar of catering. Like, I'm gonna make mistakes. I need someone to hold my feet to the fire too, to be like, hey, listen, yeah, you did great here, and here, but you missed this, and this. And I need to know that. I will never learn anything about doing a great job. I need to know when I make mistakes. I need someone to hold me accountable so I can atone for those mistakes and learn how not to make them again. I'm only gonna grow from realizing my shortcomings and evolving past them. I'm never going to grow from the alternative. So the mistakes I made were unfortunate and they sucked. And I'm not happy that they were made, but I'm happy that they didn't break me, that I'm learning how to make better choices and go forward. Because at the end of the day, if we're not here to grow, what are we doing? And that's my big takeaway for the whole thing, in all aspects of life. If you make a mistake, that sucks. If you make a mistake and learn, though, and you grow, you go forward, then it's really not that big of a deal. It's not tragedy. It's just, oops, okay, let's do it again. Let's be better. How can I be better? I had a teachable moment with one of my staff members the other day where he said he was trying his best, and I was frustrated and I didn't handle it I didn't handle it as good as I could have. He's like, I'm trying my best, and I said, well, right now your best isn't good enough, and that's truly how I felt, not how I should have presented it. Excuse my expression, but it's truly how I felt, because our best is very rarely ever good enough. And our best isn't actually our best. It's just the best we can do right now. What it is a momentary line of judgment that we give ourselves. And we can either say that's all we got, we can put our stamp on it, like this is all I can give you, or I can say, well, this is my new minimum. I have to do this or better. I can do better next time. I know I can do better. If I tell you I'm doing my best and I'm not sweating, I have no stress, I'm not tired or scared, or I haven't had to fight tooth and nail to get there, then it's not my best. It's what I felt comfortable doing. And so I hurt his feelings. I didn't mean to. I took him aside. I said, hey, let me explain something to you. I apologize for the way I presented that. It wasn't my intent to hurt your feelings. I'm not really wired like that. I don't ever set out to ruin someone's day, and I'm sorry. I'm stressed out, and I did not shoulder that as well as I thought I was, so I apologize. But I do need you to understand that your best is only your best until it's not. Which means that if you keep trying hard, you keep pushing, and you keep practicing, you keep busting your hump, eventually your best just becomes your normal, and then your normal becomes complacent and easy. And when it becomes easy, that means you're capable of a little bit more, and that's called growing. So your best is your best for now, but it's not your best forever. You'll get better. And I'm waiting for you to get better. I'm waiting for you to see in yourself what I see in you, because I know that you could do better. I know that you have more in you. There is more dog in you that's ready to fight. Like, you're not just phoning your life in, because this is a smart kid. He's a hard worker. He's a good kid. I know he could do better. And so we talked, and I apologized a couple times. And I still feel bad. It's been about a week, and I still feel absolutely terrible about the way I said that. Because he's young, and which it would suck for a role model. It'd be like, I'm trying best. Well, that's not good enough. Like, I don't intend to come across as a monster, but sometimes the things come out. And so I had to apologize, and I just explained the way I felt about it. And I wanted him to know that I seen so much potential in him, because I wouldn't have you around if I didn't think you were capable of more. And that's the truth. That's the same thing with myself. If I didn't think I was capable of doing a better job every time, I wouldn't keep doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to disappoint people. I don't want people to, show up and be like, oh, well, I thought it'd be better. Like, no, I want them to be like, wow. I want them to be blown away by our dedication and our perseverance to greatness, and to make sure that they have the amazing time, and that the little things, you're at a wedding, and someone has holding a baby and they come through the buffet line, like, take their plate to their table, like, always doing little things to make sure they have a better experience. That's called growing. If I'm not doing that stuff, then I'm not doing my best. And my best is defined by how many different ways can I help you today? How many different areas of my life, of my expertise, of my industry, of my business can I use to improve your event? That's really what I'm looking at here. How many different services can I use to make your day easier? And I'm not talking about paid services. I'm talking about little things. Helping someone unload, helping the DJ out, going out of your way to move your timetable around to better facilitate for them to take photos. Little things that you can do to make their day easier and better. That's what we're here to grow. That's what we're here for. And that's the same thing with my dishwashers and my prep cooks. How I want them to look at my job and their job like that. How many different things can I do here to make this easier for him? Because at the end of the day, if it's easier for me, it's easier for them. If it's easier for them, then they're happier. If we can streamline the loading and unloading of vehicles, which means everything gets brought in, which means everything gets put away faster, which means dishes get done faster, cleanup's done faster. If everything is streamlined and simple, no one's going to hate their job. We're just going to do it. We're going to have a good time doing it. I'm a big fan of the good time doing it. I've been in this shit too many times. Trust me. You get stuck in the trenches. You're there till midnight prepping an event. You go home, be back in the kitchen by 4. It sucks. And if you streamline all these practices, if your SOPs allow for, the expedient turnaround, things get a lot simpler, a lot easier. Your prep time is down. Your sleep time is up. And if you're in any industry with other humans, you need your sleep time. So, your health and wellness is just as important as your performance. I guess I'm just rambling right now. I told myself that when I started this, I was just going to talk, and that even if I had someone with me, if we have a guest, or if I'm just talking, it's unedited. I'm not cutting anything out. So I want you guys to understand the way my brain works and how it just kind of goes and goes and goes. My mouth runs like a duck's butt in water. It never stops running. So thank you for your patience. And thank you for listening to me ramble on about catering and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being here if you are still here. I love that you've taken the opportunity and the time to listen to this. It's taken me a lot of gumption to do it. I've been really insecure. I've thought about it for a while. I've had it in the back of my head for a long time. I wasn't sure if I wanted to, because I've done a lot of podcasts in the past, but I never really felt like they were for me. And this is the first one that I think is for me. Like, I just want to do it. I don't have anyone that wants me to do it. I'm not doing it for advertisements are getting paid for it. I just want to reach out and express, some of the things I've learned over the years, my thoughts, my feelings, and my gratitude for where I'm at in life and where I could still go. At the end of the day, like I said, if we don't have gratitude, we don't have anything. So, with that being said, my name's Chef Nicholas. I love you. Thank you for being here on the first episode of Burnt Water. And I want you to go forth and have a fantastic day full of new opportunities to learn, live, laugh, and love. I'll talk to you later.